what matters is the analysis and how we got there, right? I say it every time. I say it all the time. I say it, and you should say it whenever we take after wins though, because that's when you guys are actually in tune. When we take a loss, it's harder to get through your heads. But I always say it, bro. Whenever you take a win, I'm like, yo, this win is irrelevant. Won't change your life, nothing, right? But what will change your life here is understanding how we got there, how we got to that trade. And this is part of the process, right? This is part of the whole entire process. You're gonna see the whole process, from me starting off the stream to me playing music to me doing my analysis, right? Like, those things matter, because again, music is what makes me profitable at the end of the day. I'm kidding. But like doing this every day, for the last 4 years on the streams, coming by and do my analysis from like the weekly, monthly, all the way down to the 515, like, you see live examples of all this happening, all of this form in front of your face, right? You see like me form my bias, you see me look for my setups, right? From start to finish. So, make sure, you guys are paying attention to this part of the day. So, first off is, let's take a look at the news here. Do you have any news today? No. You have home existence sales at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's in about 2 hours and a half. Will we get a trade beforehand? High chance, right? So would that be relevant to us? It can be if we're there till 10. If we're not, then none of our business, right? Because you have news at 10, which is in 2 hours and a half, 10 a.m. Eastern, right? It's gonna be a long time till we have news. Gold though, on this chart here, shows you that currently, so why is it okay? No, there we go. So what's happening here on the monthly time frame, even though we're not really trading the monthly, we're not like looking to like hold any swings right now, at least for all I know, or at least I am, but like we're not like, look today for instance, we're not looking to hold any swings or hold any positions to the monthly targets. It's just like a good way to get a little refresher in your head, because right now I have no idea what's going on. If I'm being real, when it comes to charts every day, I never know what's going on. Like, I have no idea. So I start to pick my bias up and my ideas up while I'm doing this analysis. So it's key to always start from the higher time frame and then make your way down towards the smaller time frame. So like a little warm up too, warms up your brain a little bit. So the monthly here is obviously right now we have this resistance up here. So there's a resistance up here on price, right at 2000. And there's also support here at the areas down here at the 1840, or what is that, 1824, 1840. So in those ranges there, that's what you got as your next support now. So what this means for gold is that this is one monthly range, right? So this is one monthly range from obviously here to here, right? So if you're closing bearish at resistance, which you can see here we did, right, and then the next candles are closing below 2000, it means that you're respecting 2000 now. This whole entire month, or the first half of the month, I was like, you know what, we need to create a top wick for the monthly before coming down, right? The monthly never created a top wick, it just shot straight down. So you have 9 days left now, and this matters as well, because it's a cycle of, it's the end of the monthly cycle, obviously, right? So if this is the end of the monthly cycle, a couple things can happen here. You could continue to pop and then start to pull back, or two, you could create a top wick for the monthly ends. Chances of you creating a top wick though and then coming down bearish again is very unlikely. There needs to be a lot of volume for that to happen. Obviously 90 is a lot of time, but still, for all I know, you may end up closing bearish the way we are in below these ranges, and then next month's candle should be pretty interesting, because next month's candle should continue to pop down to retest the lows. But this month's candle, I'll say, as long as it closes below this range here, it should continue to pop down towards the next support. So you can see a support right here, right? You close below there, you should continue to make your way down. Looking left, this is all clean traffic, and that's when you fill this range here towards like 1840, 1800. So there's gold on the monthly. Now the weekly is pretty bearish as well this week as well. You have 3 days left. You have, it's only Tuesday today, so a couple things that can happen here is, first things, I think I mentioned this yesterday, is when you're looking at price here, you're gonna notice that every time price makes its way down towards the breakout low, or towards the next support, it created a top wick first. So when you look at price here on the left, you're gonna see that there's some type of closure here. So you have a closure right around here, right? Obviously it's below the range, right? So when you're looking at price here, when you're looking from left to right, you're going to see that before coming down towards your next support, which is where your next support, I'll say overall could be here, right? You're going to see every time it came down there, after closing below the range, where was the top wick created at? We went through the exact same motion yesterday. I mentioned it. We said, well, top wick was created when you came down past here, right? Because this candle closed in the range. So let me go highlight that up real quick. This one closed in the range, continue to pop down. This one closed back into the range, right? And then I guess this one closed back into the range. So those are your 3 levels here that you're looking at here on price. So in those areas there, before coming down, because like all these times that price closed back into the range, I filled the range, right? You're gonna see the same thing here. Fill the range, fill the range, fill the range, right? So I'm looking to see every time we close below here, what happened. And these are 3 points where price came down and filled the range. So this time around, we closed below the range too. And you're gonna see as you close below those ranges, where was the top wick, right? Top wick was like right here. Top wick was right here. Top wick was right here. So if you were to kind of go and connect the dots, right? 1, 2, what's your medium average support? Or my bad, medium average line. Like if you were to drag a line across to connect all the dots, or be close to connecting all the dots, you put it right here. So if I'm waiting for a top wick this month, I'm probably looking for a top wick right there. So let me go ahead and remove all this. Oops. Move all this now. You don't need all this anymore, right? So right there. So if I'm looking for a price to create a top wick, I'll probably expect the top wick at 1904, 1902, which is what's happening right now, right? So this is now your weekly top wick. You're a day into the weekly, and the first thing price does create a top wick. That's good. It's a good sign. So any given point this week, price could continue to flip bearish, to continue pushing down towards the next support, right? Obviously, looking left here, going back to what I circled earlier on price, you're gonna see that this is your support, right? So you close below. Every time you close below, price made its way down towards the next support, but where did price start to reject first, right? So like for instance, this is your closure again, this is your closure, and then this is your closure. You're gonna see that at some given point price started to struggle, right? And in the past it was around here. So in this case, price came down here, struggled, came down to here, struggled, came down to here, struggled. I'll say that's your next support. So again, same shit, connect your dots, 1, 2, or 1 and then 2, right? If you were to draw a line going across as your support, it'll probably be around there, right? So 1860, right? So that's probably your target now, because if price were to continue popping down, likely that's where price will pop down towards before it starts to react, right? Which makes sense too, because this candle right here has no bottom wick, and as you come down and fill that range, you'll be filling that no bottom wick as well on the weekly. So that's what I'm expecting for the weekly this week. By Friday, I'm expecting prices to happen to those ranges at like 1865, right? But again, you need the weekly to flip bearish. It's not guaranteed, but in terms of probability, that's what happened in the past, and that's what you're kind of painting the picture for the weekly. The daily time frame, right? Because this one starts to matter, because this is when it comes down to just like the current day and what you're trading right now. The weekly and monthly does matter too, but this is when, this is the current day, obviously, right? So you're gonna see here, first things first, is that yesterday you closed what? You closed bullish, right? So this kind of here closed bullish, respecting this resistance here, which indicates that you're still respecting this resistance, right? You haven't broken above the range, so you haven't closed above the range. You're not indicating that you're closing above to drive up. You're not closing bearish at resistance, confirming resistance to drive down yet. You're just simply at a resistance, right? So if this is your next support, that's your resistance. This is the range you're in. You're now in the range from 1903 to 1875, which is not bad. It's a 280 pip range on the daily time frame, right? Which is not bad at all. So today's candle, any given point, even though it's bullish, it could still flip bearish, right? Due to the fact that, again, you're below this resistance here. So let me go ahead and draw a line here. You have a support down here, right? So this is your range. Any given point, what can happen with this candle is it can start to close bearish here or flip bearish here. And as it flips bearish, you'll see price continue to pop down and retest the lows. Who knows? It might flip bearish today, close bearish there for tomorrow, drive down, or it might not even flip bearish at all, right? But if price does end up closing bearish like this, or even below the ranges like this, then tomorrow's gonna be an algo day, because This is like your top wick. This is like your range on fake out on a small time frame for us to continue driving down. You might not see it, but this is a range on fake out. If you were to go down to the 4-hour time frame or something, the overall structure of price will look something like this. Like you'll see a price continue to push down. All of a sudden you have like some type of support form like this, right? You don't have liquidity to drive up yet. So therefore what you might see is you might see something like this. And then all of a sudden this is a fake out, right? This is your resistance now. This is your support. All of a sudden you see like price come back into the ranges. And that's kind of what's printing right now, because this on a higher time frame is just the current price. So like this is what you might see in a small time frame, but on a higher time frame you might just see a retest. That retest is just this. On a small time frame, there's more structure, there's more details. That's why you're gonna see the fake out, but you don't see the fake out here. Does that make sense? So you can kind of anticipate sells out, obviously in these ranges here, because you're expecting price to continue pushing down, using the small time frame. So that's when we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, the 1 hour, the 30 to 15, because any given point that daily could still flip bearish right after creating a top wick. And I think this is like the first time it's retesting the highs. Yeah, so you retested the highs this morning at like 6 a.m. and then you started to reject, but I don't think that's enough liquidity yet. That's what I was trying to say to you guys earlier this morning. I was waiting for another break of the highs. So you have the 4-hour candle close here, which is in about an hour and a half. First thing I noticed here, couple things here is, one, there's a resistance here formed on price right around here, right? Resistance formed. There's also I guess you can see a minor support formed here. So this is the range we're in right now. And if you guys take a close look, or you don't need to take a close look, you can kind of see it, you're gonna see that this candle right here never closed above the range. It closed right at it, right at resistance, right? It might have closed above most recent if you really zoom in, but overall you're respecting the structure still, and this structure is a lot stronger than this structure. So therefore price at any given point could flip bearish, and if it ends up flipping bearish, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to come down, and due to the fact that you have no bottom wick on that previous 4-hour low, you're going to likely come down to fill that 4-hour wick, bottom wick, before coming up. Again, like I said, if price was to continue to drive up here, right? Because if you guys would zoom out, you guys don't see it. If price was to continue driving up, look, what would the structure need to do? Like, because if you were to drive up here, your next target is gonna be somewhere probably up here, or even up here, for all I know. And for you to drop towards 1916, 1928, you need liquidity, right? So who knows? Price could drive up today, for all I know, right? But I believe in order for us to drive up, you're gonna see liquidity, and liquidity is gonna be something like this probably. Like you're gonna see the breakout lows or something, right before popping up. Then you'll pop up. You'll be mirroring this push to the left, and then you'll be popping up towards the next resistance. That's when once that forms, perfect. Buys are likely to play out more often than they would in this case, where you don't have liquidity yet. You don't have any bottom wicks, you don't have any ranges printed. So that's what I'm saying. If we can take sells from like the daily time from target or daily time from resistance now to retest the lows, that'd be amazing. This range is like a decent 150 pip range. We could get runners today, right? So it's just about the small time from now. So that's what the 4 is doing. You have an hour and a half to a close. 1 hour time frame closes in about 11 minutes here, so we're probably gonna wait for the 1 hour close. But off of what I see here, 1 hour is gonna close bullish here. Now it's gonna be a little tough taking buys obviously with the 1 hour closing bullish, especially if it closes above this resistance here at 1903.031, because then your next resistance is 1906, and I really wanted 1906 to get tapped last night, or I think I saw an Elvis about this yesterday during the late session. I was like, yo, 1906, we can look for sales around there during Asian, but I never tapped that level during Asian. So I'm assuming if you're closing bullish here in the 1 hour, you're gonna retest the highs here, and as you retest the highs, you should tap into 1907. Once price taps 1907, you need like the zucchini to form, or you need some type of resistance to form and structure to form, right? And then after that forms, you get the motion, and you can take sales coming down. So let me just try to figure out exactly where that's going to be today, because 1 hour's going to close bullish above most recent, so it's going to close above here. Then you have clean traffic drive up towards 1907. It only makes sense to tap 1907 with the 4 hour time frame as well. That 30 has no bottom wick, 15 no liquidity to drive up yet. So if you can drive up towards 1907 without having to break any of these lows at 1901, that'd be perfect, right? because we can just take sells off rip. Let me see real quick. So this is when I draw my line, so I gotta lock this part in. 1907 is gonna be right around here, so that's where I want to be looking for, or that's my resistance there. And then you got your current support on price, which is, I'll say, roughly around here. Or, my bad, around here. So that's your current range you're in. So that's the range you're in. And that's what price closed above, respected. And then now it's coming to retest the highs. Then you should continue to pop up towards 1907. This is like what you gotta pay attention to now, because this is like your major support, major resistance. These are levels where price must tap, in order, not must tap, but high likely will tap in order for price to make a decision on where it wants to go next. In terms of this is where price will grab liquidity at. This is where price will reject that. This is where price would continue to break out the ranges at, right? So that's why these ranges here are very key, because it just shows you the strong levels that you've been playing, or not playing at, you've been sitting at in the past. In the past, there's been a strong resistance here at 1907. Also been one at 1912, and there's also been one at 1898, right? So how will I play this today? Yeah, we can come up tap 1907. Let me just see what 1907 is. Yeah, you know, like, cause look, like, if you guys take a look here, so sometimes I gotta do my analysis a couple times for me to actually, like, you know, get a decent understand, like, or get a better idea of what it is. It might change in a session too and shit, but if you guys take a look at price here, right, these are your major zones here. 1890 and 1899 on the 1 hour at least, right? It might be different from the 15 that I drew earlier, but this is your major zone here, right? And you're gonna see in the past what needs to happen in order for price to come all the way up to fill 1910, right? You need to grab liquidity first, because you're looking at this now. You're looking at this push here, and you're gonna see last time price made its way up and it filled 1910, which is the next major resistance. What did it do? It created a bottom wick first. So if price continues to pop up with no bottom wick here, then at some given point it's gonna create a bottom wick, right? Therefore, it sells at 1907, 1908 will be perfect, right? Because if this forms first though, right, if you come down first, tap into his ranges, and then all of a sudden you flip bullish, then that's a problem, right? Because then, or not a problem, that'll be indicating that, okay, well, we might have grabbed liquidity for us to go the other way now. Because if this forms, then yeah, you know, like you have liquidity 1 and 2, you're likely gonna fill the range down to mirror that move, right? But right now you don't have that yet. You don't have that printed yet. That's all I'm saying. You can just anticipate the sells to come down due to the fact that you haven't had that in the past. Now I want to see how many times that's happened to me or happened to price in the past. Yeah, same thing here as well. Before price came up to retest the highs, it came down towards like 1893 or something first before making its way up. Same thing here, came down towards 1886 before making its way up towards 1827, right? So you obviously need liquidity in order for us to continue making our way up towards 27 and all these ranges up here. You don't have that yet. That's why I'm saying we can just look for sells probably around like 1907 as a first position, and then 1910 as your second pineapple, anticipating the fact that, you know, you'll come down to at least retest the lows and before making your way up, because I'm assuming that even if you were to come up and you weren't to come down, and this were to be our entry today, let's say we have entries like right around here, even if, like, you know, we, you know, don't drive down from 1906, I'll assume that before making your way all the way up towards the next resistance, which is up here, that you'd be forming at least a bottom wick first, right? Like, because you have a minor support here too. So this is right now your most recent resistance. Even if price weren't to continue popping down and it were to close above the range, you at least get a bottom wick here or something first before coming up. So even if you don't drive down and fill the rest of the range, you'll at least retest like 1904, and entries from 1906, 1907 will be at break even and all that good stuff, and you'll be out before any of this happens, and then you'll be, you know, in profit. You can manage risk and all that. And then another pineapple at 1910, because now you have another resistance right around here at this resistance area. You have one right here, and then you have one right here. If price again were to continue popping up and it were to come back down, you begin the top bottom wick somewhere here as well, because that's your most recent resistance, right? And you're gonna see that every time price again made its way up towards 1916 in the past, like this push here, you came down, create a bottom wick, came down, create a bottom wick. So even if you don't get a bottom wick down towards 1986, you still got this to mirror, which is your exit point anyways. So you have that advantage point that you don't have taking sells down here, obviously, or taking sells down here. Does that make sense, chat? So basically, that's what I'm looking for today. 1910, 1912 level, or 1907 levels. Let me just readjust my lines here. Might have been a bit confusing today. I can understand that. Your levels aren't as clear today as they were yesterday, but hopefully you guys, could ask some questions or something. Let me just see. 1907. Okay, cool. And then you got what is this level? I'll just put it here. Right there is fine. And then you have 1907, which is your resistance here on price. $1907.311, and then you have cool. All right, cool. Yeah, if we can just continue to pop up towards 1907 for a bottom wick here, it'll be perfect, because then you can just take advantage of this. You have an extra advantage point out here at like 1901 for 50 pips. It's not too bad. I mean, I want runners today. If we do take sales at 1907 in those areas there, we'll look for runners obviously to come down towards 1896. 1898 minimum, but 1896 would be more ideal, because in order for price to continue pushing up again, that's the retest levels, and that's an area where price could reject. Obviously you can just reject with the daily. The daily, for all I know, could just reject and then flip and then end up continue to push down. This might be the high for us to continue making your move down, for all I know, but it's just you're playing with the daily versus the 1 hour support. I mean, if you want, you can. We'll see what happens. We'll see what runners or not, but that's what I'm just anticipating here. That move down towards 1898. All right, chat. All right. And that analysis could change during a session. Like, I'm always readjusting, and as I go on with the day, right? I'm always readjusting my levels, readjusting my plan.